Man, what's the deal, family? Welcome back to Rare TV, the real attraction channel on YouTube. It's your boy Rare Soul, and today we got another fucking banger for y'all, man. So look, I know y'all saw the title, man. Top 10 terrifying facts about the Maori people, bro. I know I used to say Maori a lot, and I found out it's Maori. So I'll get that right, man. My fault. You know what I'm saying? I'll try out here. I'll try. That's it. Y'all know I be having the names right 90% of the time, but 10% is gonna be wrong, man. But it's all good. It's all love. The Maori warriors, man. Top 10 terrifying facts about the Maori warriors. If you don't know who they are, they're the Maori. I'm assuming this is gonna be about the Maori warriors prior to them going to New Zealand or the Cook Islands or Tahitian Islands. I'm not really sure. I don't know if it's going to be the original Polynesian people before they went to these 3 different separate locations, or if it's going to specify one island or one area like New Zealand, Cook Islands, or if it's going to go and just talk about all of them in general as a culture. Not sure where it's going to lead to that, but Maori people are the indigenous Polynesian people of mainland New Zealand. If you're talking about New Zealand, it could be Cook Islands, like I said. As far as New Zealand goes, they got there around 320 to 1350, man. So, man, they've been there for a while. Got their own distinct languages, way of culture, etc., etc. We obviously see that. We obviously see their culture being presented in rugby, right? So, especially when the Indigenous and the All Stars games, the Maori All Star game, all that stuff, you kind of see how that culture is still very prevalent today. And you can see here, based on the 2018 census, just under around 250,000 people, 750,000 people in New Zealand. In Australia, you got 140,000 from 2016 census. UK, 8,000. United States, 3,500 from 20 years ago. So I don't know if they actually put that in the census anymore. Canada, 2,500, 4 years ago. So there you go, man. About to see the top 10 terrifying facts, and this is going to be about the culture as it was some time ago. I don't know how far it's going to go back, but some time ago, man. So let's get straight into it, man. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and if you like the video, go ahead and like the video. Let's get to it.
Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching Top 10's Net, and in the video today, we're looking at the top 10 terrifying facts about Maori warriors.
Number 10. Their tattoos were carved in. Tattoos held a special significance to the Maori people, meant both men and women would get them. The most common place to get them was the face, but some Maori people were known to get their necks, torsos, and arms tattooed as well. Most Maoris started getting their tattoos during adolescence. Each
carved in? Look, I know there's a way where you can get tattoos. Like, imagine, like, there's tattoos where you can go, and I don't know if it's being carved in, but what they do is they get like a needle, like a little like stick or a needle thing, put it in ink, and they literally like bing, 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 bing. So that's like hammering. I don't know if that's the same thing he's talking about. When I think carve, I'm thinking you got like a knife and you like cutting a tattoo into somebody, which people do that too. And then it just grows back into like a sore or something. Or is he talking about the version where it's actually a tattoo with ink and you just, and so you're like carving like a sculpture, I guess, kind of like an ice pick. That shit crazy, bro. That shit wild. It's not beyond wild, but it's pretty wild though.
Each design was unique, but generally they were in the shape of spirals. They were tattooed on during a ceremony, and each line showed the person's bravery and strength. After all, these tattoos weren't put on using a needle gun. Instead, they were carved into the skin using a mallet and a chisel that was made from bone, and the ink was made from ash and fat. This left the skin with grooves like a record instead of being smooth like modern tattoos.
Okay. That's what I figured. I figured you're getting like chiseled in there and not like carved out like a fucking knife and shit, like a fucking pumpkin. Hell no. Chiseled and shit, whatever. That's it. I know some people who actually got the chisel shit. That shit crazy, bro. But as long as it ain't getting fucking sliced and diced and shit and carved up like it's Fruit Ninja in this bitch, hell no.
Number 9. The War Dance. One of the most notable traditions used by Maori warriors and still used by many of their national sports.
I've seen this before. I think this is like one of my first HAKA reactions I ever did to this video. Definitely wasn't the best, but it was good.
instead of being smooth like modern tattoos. Number 9. The War Dance. One of the most notable traditions used by Maori warriors and still used by many of their national sports teams today is the traditional native dance called the HAKA. During the dance, the participants say a chant, stamp their feet, stick out their tongues, and bulge out their eyes. While the dance was often performed to welcome special guests, it was actually developed for war. The dance was used in two different...
Wait. The HAKA was created to welcome guests into your house? Or to like the country or whatever, you know what I'm saying? The place of where you reside? That's crazy. I can see why it changed to a war dance. I can see. Because if I was pulling up to an island and a dude started pulling that out, I'd be like, alright, it's time to go. I think they want to fight us. I think they want to fight us, but I'm not really sure, man. I'm not really sure. So I can see why it became more of a war dance than a welcoming dance, for sure. But that's interesting. That's an interesting fact, though, that it was a welcoming dance turned into a war dance. This is what, like a tutorial or something, how to do the haka? Prepare your feet.
Different ways. The first is that it was used to intimidate their opponents. The other way it was used was that it was performed before a battle during a ritual. If there was something wrong with the dance, then the elders were sure that it was a bad omen. This gave them the chance to either abandon or modify their plans. Number 8. The Mere Club was used to crack skulls. The Mere Club was the most common weapon used by Maori warriors. It was in the shape of a teardrop and made from bone, jade, or stone. They were often decorated and considered heirlooms since it took so long to craft one. They are a blunt force weapon and were used in close-range fighting. Often a Maori warrior would attack an opposing tribesman by swinging the Mere Club down on his shoulder. This would hopefully break the collarbone or dislocate or break the shoulder.
Sheesh.
Then their opponent would be unable to defend himself against a blow to the head, often to the temple. Behind the temple is the terion, which is the weakest point of the skull. Since the skull is so thin there, it usually only took one blow to that area to kill an opposing warrior. Number 7. The Dead.
I wonder if that's where they got the idea for like police batons and shit. You know what I'm saying? You got that lead, but because I remember, look, I'm black and shit, obviously. I'm sure most of y'all watching this got some culture to you too. But look, I grew up like, look, don't get beat by police, man. That baton full of lead. Take one hit to the temple with that baton, you gonna be lights out, buddy. That's what they do. Even before they started like just killing niggas and shooting them and shit, they hit that baton straight to your dome, you be gone. Lights out, buddy. Gone. So, I mean, look, let's be honest. Like clubs, any type of long sticks has been used forever in any type of like civilization. But just a thought.
Were buried and dug back up again and then reburied. The Maori had a very unusual method for burying their dead. Starting early in their culture, the Maori people began to bury people twice. First, after a week or two of mourning, the body was wrapped in mats and then would be buried and allowed to decompose. Then, a year later, the bodies were dug up and the bones were scraped to remove any remaining flesh. The bones were then painted with red ochre, which is a natural pigment, and taken to different settlements where they once again mourned the dead. Then there was another ceremony before they were buried again in a sacred place. Once this second burial was complete, the person's soul would go on to their mysterious afterlife. Number 6. The War Strategy.
So, it's a process. Without saying too much, I'm gonna just say it's a process, right? It's for something that has to do with their afterlife, obviously. I don't get it, but I respect it, okay?
Strategy. A war party called a hapu usually never consisted of more than 100 men, and in some cases women fought as well. Sometimes multiple hapus would come together, but with more warriors, they became less organized. Warriors were also trained from a young age, and every male was trained as a warrior. One specific thing they worked on was wrist strength. This would make their weapons, like the mere, much more effective. How the Maoris would attack other tribes is by traveling to enemy settlements quietly or pretending they were out on a hunting expedition. Once they got close, they would attack, often at dawn. All the men were killed because this eliminated the chance that any tribesman could come back and seek revenge. The women were also taken as a prize of war. Number 5. Heads of the killed were taken as trophies. Heads held a special significance
That's
to
normal.
Maori people, and they were known to take the heads of their fallen enemies. Once they had the head, they would remove the brain and the eyes. Next, all the orifices were sealed with flax fiber and gum. The head was then boiled or steamed in an oven. Then the heads were dried in the sun for several days, and they were treated with shark oil. One reason
That's actually not that crazy. Many ancient or old civilizations used to do this. Like, if you ever seen any movies, like any old movies that represent very indigenous or old cultures from way back in the day, a lot of them heads on the fucking sticks and shit. Asian people did this shit a lot too, like heads on the sticks, and they would line it up as the other people are like around where they live. So if anybody was going to intrude, it was like a scare tactic. Like, this could be you. You want to end up as a motherfucking dome on a stick? You could be a dome on a stick too, buddy. Come over here, fuck around playing these games. You gonna be a dome on a stick too, dog. Shit. So that one's not too crazy. That's like normal for like any type of warriors and anti-civilizations, Vikings and shit. Like, everybody did that shit.
reason why they kept the heads of their enemies was that so they could mock it later. One missionary said he watched one chief say to the head of an enemy chieftain, "You wanted to run away, didn't you? But my greenstone club overtook you, and after you were cooked, you were made food for me. And where is your father? He is cooked. And where is your brother? He is eaten. And where is your wife? There she sits, a wife for me.
Oh my God.
And where are your children? There they are, loads on their backs, carrying food as my slaves."
Oh my God, that was the hardest diss track of 1350. Oh my God. That fool dropped the hardest diss track of 1368, bro. Talk about hit him up. He said stick him up. What's up? That boy said, your wife, your brother, nigga, what's up? Your cousin, your pops.
One missionary
Sheesh.
said he watched one
With
chief
me.
say to the
Gone,
head of an enemy
gone,
chieftain,
with me. Oh.
"You wanted to run away, didn't you? But my greenstone club overtook you, and after you were cooked, you were made food for me. And where is your father? He is cooked. And where is your brother? He is eaten. And where is your wife? There she sits, a wife for me. And where are your children? There they are, loads on their backs,
Oh my
carrying
God.
food
That's
as my
wild.
slaves."
That's wild.
If that wasn't insulting enough, they also developed a bizarre game with the heads. They would pile them in a heap and then set the head of the principal chief on the top of the pile. Then, using stones or other heads, they took turns trying to knock off the head at the top of the pile. Number 4, Captain James Cook's first encounter was terrifying.
Wait,
Top of the
say that again?
pile. Then, they would pile them in a heap and then set the head of the principal chief on the top of the pile. Then, using stones or other heads, they took turns trying to knock off the head at the top of the pile. Number 4.
Whoa. That sounds very familiar. So y'all know about that game? Alright, so you know you go to a carnival and you got the games where you stack up the little pieces and then you get the ball and you gotta try to knock down the bottles and shit. Same shit. Same shit, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's when you start getting woke and shit. You start learning too much information. You start looking at like regular shit that's supposed to be fun and thinking about other shit. Like, I'm never gonna be able to go to a motherfucking carnival or like the pier. Be like, oh yeah, knock the bottles down with the ball. And I'm just gonna think about motherfucking Maori warriors and chiefs' heads and shit. And the hardest bars are 1368. I'm gonna be like, I don't wanna play this no more. That shit funny. It's crazy how like shit that's like we do nowadays, you wouldn't understand where it came from years and years ago. It's wild.
4. Captain James Cook's first encounter was terrifying. The first encounter between the Europeans and the Maori was in December of 1646 when a Dutch ship made landfall near a Maori tribe.
Don't fuck
Both
with 'em.
groups were standoffish, and this led to a small fight that resulted in deaths on both sides. After the run-in, the Dutch sailed off, and Europeans would not go back until October 1767,
Nigga said,
when
"I'm
English
cool."
navigator James Cook traveled there looking for the fabled fort.
They went over there and was like, you know what? We cool, bruh. We only like 5'6". These dudes over here 6'3", huge as hell, got ink. I don't know. Oh shit, that's funny.
Continent.
Like I said, we
When
cool
Captain
on
Cook
this.
first encountered the Maori, they sent out 2 war canoes to meet them. When the canoes approached, 2 full-grown Maori warriors, complete with face tattoos, stood up and held the shrunken heads of their latest opponents, who were also covered with tattoos. Cook and his crew immediately noticed the detail on the faces and knew the heads were real. Cook wanted to interact with the Maori peacefully, but there were some misunderstandings and the Maori acted aggressively. As a result, the Europeans were supposedly forced to kill a few Maori in self-defense, much to the dismay of Cook. To convince them that they had come in peace, Cook and his men ended up kidnapping some Maori warriors. They acted kindly to them and then let them go. This led to a better relationship between the Maori and the Europeans, which would play an important role in the shaping of New Zealand.
Fuck that.
With Facebook Shops, connecting people with your business just got easier.
I want it to stop.
When it comes to these motherfucking Europeans on these ships trying to be cool, no, I don't want to be cool. No, go back home. I don't want to be cool. I don't care. None of that shit. Sorry.
3. Their most famous warrior, Hongi Hika. It is believed that the most famous Maori chief, Hongi Hika, was born in 1778. As a young man, he was a fierce and agile warrior who rose up through the ranks of his tribe. His chief got along with the Europeans and also saw the value of muskets in warfare. The chief managed to trade with the Europeans for several guns and ammo in 1808. The tribe then got into a war with another tribe. Hika's tribe fired off their first shots with them through the ranks of his tribe. 1778. As a young man, he was a fierce and agile warrior who rose up through the ranks of his tribe. His chief got along with the Europeans and also saw the value of muskets in warfare. The chief managed to trade with the Europeans for several guns and ammo in 1808. The tribe then got into a war with another tribe. Hika's tribe fired off their first shots with their muskets, but the problem with the muskets is that they take at least 20 seconds to reload. The other tribe used this time to attack. Many members of Hika's tribe, including the chief, were slaughtered. Hongi Hika was one of the lucky few to get away. With the chief dead, Hongi Hika was the most senior, so he took control of the tribe. The defeat, however, could have well discouraged Hongi Hika from using muskets. However, he had the foresight to see that muskets could be an incredibly important part of warfare, so he got closer to the Europeans, even visiting Australia and England, where he became a bit of a sensation because of his tattoos. He even converted to Christianity and set up the first Christian mission in New Zealand.
Sheesh. You see? You see? Y'all let James Cook and them go take the culture and shit. Y'all let James Cook and these niggas come pull up, give y'all a few bullshit ass muskets, get your homie murked. Then after the dude got murked because niggas wanted to get these muskets, then the understudy goes over there, says, fuck this culture, they love me over here, these white people love me, and they love my tattoos, they love me, I'ma be Christian now, fuck it, I'ma start spreading Christianity all through here because they told me to. Oh my God, and then it's gone. Then it's gone. Then it's a million left. So I'm telling you, get the fuck out of here. We good over here, buddy. We good. We wasn't even fighting until y'all's put. I mean, we was fighting. But like, now y'all bringing muskets and then we changing the culture and shit. Man, it's too much.
New Zealand. This relationship to the church gave Hongi Hika access to more rifles because he vowed to become a defender of the church. However, he wasn't simply given all the guns, instead trading for them. As for what the Europeans wanted in exchange for the guns, well, that was shrunken heads. In fact, as the trade became more common, slaves and prisoners of war were brought to the Europeans and they chose which heads they wanted. The Maori then tattooed the chosen victim and decapitated them. The market got so flooded with Maori heads that they were being sold for as little as £2, which was about a week's wage in England for a working man. Nevertheless, Hongi Hika was able to amass over 3,000 guns and plenty of ammo and gunpowder in his 10 years as...
So Hongi Hika, the Christian Maori savior of the land, ended up selling y'all to these European cats. So while y'all was still alive, some of y'all, to go on ahead and do that thing and get the... That's crazy. That's crazy. The same thing happened with the African people. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold it back. There was some dude, you know what I'm saying, a couple dudes like Hongi Hika did the same thing to African people and sold them to the Europeans thinking shit was sweet. I don't know why. I gotta look that up. That's wild, bro. That's wild. Shame.
Chief. Starting in 1818, his tribe slaughtered other tribes and took their women. Within a year, he had complete control over northern New Zealand. However, other tribes soon followed in Hongi Hika's footsteps and bought their own guns. Hongi Hika was killed when he took a bullet in the lung in 1828.
Killed by what you started, dummy. He was killed by the shit he was trying to create. That's crazy. Could have just been cool and, you know what I'm saying? Still could have got chopped up and shit, but at least, man.
Their own guns. Honkahika was killed when he took a bullet in the lung in 1828.
Ironic, huh?
Number 2, infanticide. Like other warrior cultures, the Maoris committed infanticide. Females were more likely to be killed because tribes needed more males, since every male was a warrior, and there needed to be a decent number of warriors to ensure the security of the tribe. Also, males were more likely to be killed in battle, meaning that there would have been an upset in the sex ratios later in life. Infanticide was also common if there was anything wrong with the baby. Essentially, there were 5 ways that the infants were killed. Their skulls could be crushed, they could be drowned in a stone basin, strangulation, suffocation, or finally, the most disturbing way was that the mothers would press against the soft spot on the skull and kill the baby instantly. Well, isn't that cheery? Hey, we can't say we didn't warn you. Terrifying is right there in the title. Number 1.
I mean, god damn, that one's tough. Maybe it was okay that James Cookson, changed the culture and shit. Maybe that was okay. Maybe that was okay. I don't know. That was a thing in China too, right? That was like a big thing in China. Not even like... See, the thing about that was a long ass time ago. Think about the shit that when they was doing that in China, it wasn't that long ago. That was kind of recent. Like, I think I was alive when they were still doing that type of shit. I don't know, man. That's wild. I don't know. Shit. It's a long time ago, man. The world was way different too. Like, I don't know. I just don't know about that one, bro.
They performed cannibalism. Whether the Maori warriors committed cannibalism or not is highly debated. Some historians believe that it was just Europeans trying to paint the Maoris as wild savages.
I can believe
However,
that.
besides witness accounts of cannibalism, tribal oral histories and archaeological evidence also strongly suggest that the Maori warriors indulged in cannibalizing vanquished enemies. There are a few reasons that the Maori ate their opponents, and it wasn't because they were hungry. One was to internalize their spirits, which they called mana. Another theory is that cannibalism was part of their post-battle rage. Another is that it would send a message to enemies. They thought that the greatest humiliation you could do your enemy was to kill them, chop them up, eat them, and then excrete them out.
So I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please...
Yeah, I've heard about that. That's honestly not that crazy either. A lot of just human beings in times like that. Cannibalism was a thing, bro. It was just lack of food, lack of resources and materials and things to go actually find food and hunt and kill and eat and all this stuff. So, yeah, cannibalism was a thing. Just any type of tribal warfare type of shit for any type of culture. That was just a thing, especially even in European culture. You think you know how cold it is and fucking shit over it and all that? It was definitely a thing over there too. So, yeah, that's not too surprising. It's not too surprising. There's still tribes in the world now that still perform cannibalism, and like it's a part of their culture all the way a part of their culture. So that one is what it is. So top 10 terrifying facts about Maori warriors, man. I hope y'all found that interesting, man. That was interesting to me. I'm down to see some more videos like this, so go ahead and hit that comment. So you got a little interesting little type of factual videos or top 10s or anything just about any type of culture. Go ahead and throw that in the comments, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. We on that road to 10K. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.